Hi everyone. Today we are discussing the subject of signals and systems. Today we are discussing about signals and systems. In the subject of signals and systems, the main theme or main object is to convert the signals in different forms and how the signal will behave in different systems. First, what is signal? A signal is a function of one or more variables that conveys information about some phenomenon. Generally, we are seeing signal means it carries the information that will be formed any group or that will be indicates any information. A signal is a function that will be includes one or more variables which will convey the information about the some phenomenon. That is called signal. In simple meaning, signal means it carries information from anywhere, which receives the information some receivers. For a function of function f in the expression f of t1 t2 up to t of n, each of the t of k is called independent variables. t1 t2 up to t of n independent variables, and t of k is dependent variable. That means it will depends on some variables. For example, when I am applying input to x and output side I am getting y, and that means input variables are depends on output variables. Those are called dependent variables. Independent variables means it has indicates a function like t1 t2 up to t1. Some examples of the signals including a voltage or current in an electronic circuit, the position, velocity or acceleration of an object, a force or torque in a mechanical system, the flow rate of a liquid or gas in a chemical process, a digital image, digital video or digital audio, or a stock market index. These are all the examples of signal. Without signal we can't generate voltage, current, velocity, acceleration, position, force, task, flow rate, liquid, chemical process, image, video, audio. Without signal we can't do anything. So that is the importance of signal is a information source which includes several variables. This is the classification of signals. In classification of signals is mainly classified three types: number of independent variables, continuous or discrete independent variables, and continuous or discrete dependent variables. These are the three types of signals. Number of independent variables. A signal with one independent variable is said to be one dimensional, only one way. A signal with more than one, that is called independent variable, is said to be multi-dimensional. More than one signal, that means it contains multiple signals. A continuous or discrete independent variables. A signal with continuous independent variable is said to be continuous signal. In below we are discussing the continuous signal and discrete signal. A signal with discrete independent variables is said to be discrete signal. Continuous signals is known as continuous time signals CT. Independent variables is known as discrete time signals. And continuous or discrete independent variable, a signal with a continuous dependent variable is said to be continuous valued. A continuous valued discrete signal or continuous digital signal is in the form of either analog or digital. We are discussing below clearly. This is the signals of continuous time signal CT, and the second one is discrete time signal DT. Continuous time signal means it generates or it flows the signal continuously without breaking. That's why it is called continuous time signal. It has contained positives and negatives directions. But in discrete time signal, the continuous time signal will be splitted or divided or separated to the equal intervals. See the discrete time signal. We are seeing 1 2 3 4 minus 1 2 3 4. That means we are equally splitted the continuous time signal with the help of sampler or sampling. CT is converted to DT with the help of sampler or sampling. Sampler or sampling. Main working principle is a continuous time signal will be converted is in the form of discrete time signal with respect to frequency and amplitude. So that's why continuous time signal will be splitted into discrete time signal. And also we are using quantization will be converted the second step of the signals. That means discrete time signal will be converted quantization signal. That means it will indicate zeros and ones, that is form a digital. So the overall process of signals and systems, analog signal will be converted into digital signal, and then after it will processed so on. This is the block diagram of system. In any system, a system is an entity that processes one or more input signals in order to produce one or more output signals. Very easy. For example, in the system input side we are applying x0, x1, x2 up to x of m, and output side we are getting y0, y1, y2 up to y of n. That means input signals, the output signals will be depends on input signals. So that's why these are called dependent signals. The output signals will be dependent on input signals. It is a system which will receive input signals and propagates or transmits output signals. Without input, without outputs. So that's why it is called dependent variables. Next one is classification of systems. Number of inputs. A system with one input said to be single input, SI. Here we are seeing multiple inputs. For example, when I am applying only single input, that's why it is called single input SI. For example, when I am applying multiple inputs, more than an input, it's said to be MI, multiple inputs. When I am applying single input, that is called SI. When I am applying multiple inputs, that is called MI. At the same time, output side I am getting only single output, that is called SO, single output. And output side I am getting multiple outputs, that is called MO, multiple output. A system with more than one output is said to be multiple output. Types of signals processed. A system can be classified in terms of types of signals that is processed. Consequently, terms such as the following can be also used to discrete systems: one-dimensional and multi-dimensional, continuous and discrete. Already we are discussed. Analog and digital. For example, a continuous system will process continuous signals, and a discrete system will process discrete time signals. That means in any system will be dependent several elements: one dimensional, multidimensional, continuous, discrete, analog, digital. These are all the different conversions and introduction of numbers, signals, system. This is the block diagram of signal processing system. Next class we are discussing deeply on signal processing system. Thank you very much.